All right, so let's talk about three things that I want to talk about that would have been very helpful for me when I first had, right after my gastric bypass surgery. I want to talk about, let's see, I'm looking at my notes just to make sure that I get it all, but I want to talk about eating, eating habits and eating the right foods and the things that I learned from that. Then I'm also going to talk about what you're eating and how you determine what to eat and what not to eat, or at least the things that I learned about it. And then finally, I want to talk about how much you're drinking right after. Now, I'm talking about after you're off your doctor's direction. Obviously, I mean, I think most weight loss programs, they give you this is what you need to follow day by day for the next 2 weeks or a month or whatever it is. I think if I recall correctly, my doctor gave me a 2 week liquid diet for 2 weeks and then soft foods for 2 weeks. And then you figure out what it is that you need. And of course, they gave me a plan of the different things that I can eat. I couldn't necessarily follow that plan. So that's why I wanted to kind of give you some of the tips that really worked for me in this video. But hey, if you have not met me before, my name is Anna Olson. And like I said, I had gastric bypass surgery 5+ years ago, and I have been very successful in keeping my weight off. So I'm sharing what has worked for me. Okay. And 5 years ago, I wasn't even on YouTube. I wish I'd have taken video as I went along, but I didn't. I still recall a lot of it. So I'm sharing it here. Okay. So let's get right into it to not make you wait any longer. Eating, when you go to eat, even today, I am 5 years past surgery. Like I said, I'm 5 years past surgery. I still don't like buffets. Eating 1 or 2 foods per meal, maybe 3, is the best for me. Even today. So that's the number one thing you can do, particularly when you're right out of the gate, is to make sure that you don't eat a bunch of different foods in one meal. 2 foods. I would say 2 foods. That's it. Because what happens is you're not sure what is going to work for you and what isn't going to work for you. At least that's the way it was for me. So they told me to take a certain kind of, even right after surgery. I remember I was 1 week out. They told me to drink this protein liquid, and I did, and I had a reaction to it. I had rash all over my stomach, all over my body. It was unbearable, an itchy rash. It was very itchy, and it was very uncomfortable. So these are things that you have to test out. And when I called the doctor and asked them about it, and they're like, "Oh, you must have a reaction to that protein powder. You'll have to do something different." I had to find something different. So you have to do some trial and errors, and you're going to go through that. I mean, it's going to take you a little bit to figure out what works and what doesn't. Because what's happening is, or at least for me, my food is going directly into my small intestine now. And that means it's hitting the bloodstream with the raw food. And my small intestine just didn't know how to react to some of that. It doesn't have any gastric juices to it before it hits your intestine. And that is a completely different thing for your body. So you have to adjust to that. And so that's why it's important that you eat small amounts, small bites, which I'm sure your doctor has told you, or your team has told you, but also to a few 1 or 2 foods per meal, so you can figure out what is causing you problems and what is not. That was the major thing for me, is to make sure I know what is causing problems. And other things, if you have to find that sweet spot. This food works really well. Okay, great. Let's put it on the list as a good one. And that may work for a while, and then all of a sudden it doesn't. I had some foods do that too. I mean, I was able to eat them or drink them right at the beginning, and then all of a sudden it made me feel sick. So then I changed and didn't use it anymore. And you might have to eat more often. Just me eat more often throughout the day. And the one big thing that really caught me was to not eat when it's time, but eat when I was hungry. That's a big change. That's a big lifestyle change. Eat when you're hungry, not when it's time. Because we're so programmed to eat at a certain time of the day. And that is not always the best. It is not always the best, particularly right after surgery, because you've just gone through a major surgery and your body is changing so rapidly right after surgery that you have to be careful and be good to yourself and not say, well, it's noon, I got to eat and I got to force myself to eat. No, you don't. You're going to want to be careful that you don't that you make sure you get enough in. You know what you need per day. Get that in. But you don't need to do it on a time schedule. That's my point. No time schedule. All right. Secondly, I want to talk about when you get off your doctor's, get past the weeks of following the doctor's specific schedule of eating and what to eat. Then think about by then you're probably on some vitamins and you're starting to feel energy again. That's the things that I noticed. I had to get on vitamins and get on, some other things to feel energetic. I was supposed to go out and walk. I was supposed to go out on my bike. I had no energy. But once I got going with all of that, a couple months out or whatever, then I could start introducing some new foods and introducing new ways of getting in certain foods. But I really focused on eating protein and vegetables. And if there was a vegetable that worked for me, I had a lot of it in the house because I was not going to be without, but I also, certain vegetables did not work for me. Potatoes do not work even today. I cannot eat potatoes. White potatoes, I can't eat. Red potatoes, I can eat a little bit. But white potatoes do not work for me today. It just doesn't work. And the other thing, a protein that doesn't work for me today is hamburger. I can eat steak if I chew small bites and chew, like they tell you when you're, I'm sure your team has told you how much you need to chew. My doctor told me that I needed to chew each bite 20 times. So you're pretty much breaking the food down in your mouth. You don't have the gastric juices to do it. And then the small intestine does not have to work as hard if you break it down in your mouth. So I still can't eat hamburger. Hamburger causes me digestion issues every time I eat it. So I don't know what the difference is between steak and hamburger, but I'm assuming there's more fat in the hamburger than there is in the steak, and that's why it didn't like it. So I stuck with, once I could eat solid foods, I stuck with chicken, some shrimp, some fish, small, that fish is much more tender, breaks down much easier. If I had shrimp, then I would chew it a lot before I'd swallow. So those are all things that worked for me. So, but my point with protein and vegetables, you want to make sure you focus on those two things because you will end up having less loose skin and not big flabby skin when you get done losing the weight if you focus on protein and vegetables. Nobody wants, I haven't had any reconstructive surgery at all or any surgeries to get rid of loose skin. I have a little bit, but not enough to cause me to have surgery. And I had enough weight to actually do that from the beginning. So it's because I believe it's because I focused on protein and vegetables that caused me not to have the excess skin when I got done losing weight. and I lost 125 pounds. That's quite a bit. That's quite a bit. I know that it's not as much as a lot of people do, but it is quite a bit. And then finally, drinking. How much are you drinking? That was another one for me that I really had to push myself to get enough in, to drink enough liquids. And if you're not a water drinker, that can be a really big challenge. And I get that. I was not much of a water drinker before. I always said, oh, I drink lots of water. Well, come down to measuring it, it really wasn't that much. These days, I have worked my way up and implemented this into my life. Today, I drink a gallon a day, but I had to work my way to this. This isn't something you're going to say, oh, I'm 6 months past surgery. I'm going to drink a gallon a day. It's probably not going to happen. It takes practice and just increase your drinking a little bit each day, a couple more ounces each day, and work your way up to it. It's the best way to do it. But also, and I can't drink, one of the things that I cannot drink after surgery was fruit juices. I cannot do fruit juices. My small intestine just does not like it. And certain fruits I can't eat either. I feel sick after if I eat an orange or a grapefruit. Cannot eat those. It just doesn't feel good in my stomach. And then, you can always drink protein. Drink your protein, but get your protein in. I mean, there's a lot of choices for low carb protein drinks these days. H2O is one. Let's see, protein 2O. What's it called now? I'll have to put a link in the comments in the description of this video because I don't remember the name of it. It's been a while since I bought it. Because I really just drink water today. I actually have a flavor in the water that I drink. This is pretty clear, but it's an energy drink that I have. But I drink 4 of these a day. This is a quart, and there's 4 quarts in a gallon. So I make sure that I get a gallon in each day. But there's a lot of choices out there compared to what it used to be. As far as getting in, your protein. 60 to 70 grams a day. And it really does make a difference. If you fill yourself with protein and some carbs, good carbs, so your vegetables are going to have your complex carbs, then you won't have room for cookies and donuts and bread and baked goods and that kind of stuff, which is what got me in trouble and got me to gain all the weight to begin with. So that really is where it's all at. And so I hope that this was helpful to you, that you can take some points and say, maybe that'll work for me, or maybe I can try that. So let me ask you this. What stage are you in? And what is your biggest challenge right now with your weight loss surgery? Let me know in the comments, and we can connect and share ideas and share information. I would certainly, I'm always listening. I'm always listening for what someone else has done and what has worked for someone else, because we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And I'm certainly willing to help out and share and just tell you what worked. And that's why I do these videos. All right, so there you have it, another episode of Anna Olson TV. Remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on my weekly videos.